What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and thank you again for tuning into another video of, you guessed it, me working on my 3rd gen Dodge. Now, in today's video, I'm going to do something that I've never done before in any of the trucks that I've had. 2nd gens, 3rd gens, 4th gens, mostly because I've been kind of freaked out too, and the fear won. Well, I'm going to do something different. I want to learn how to do something more and add to my repertoire when it comes to these trucks, and that is replace the side windows in these things, right? If you've watched my videos in the past, you know that sometimes I am not the most finesse person when it comes to taking stuff apart. That was kind of the reason why I never wanted to attempt this, maybe a small portion of it, but the fear of it, the fear of breaking something or scratching something really was kind of the big driver. So I'm just going to do it, right? I'm going to figure everything out as I go, do it. I'm going to show you guys and gals how to do it, and actually show you how easy it is to do and what a difference it makes. So let's get right into it. I'm going to be replacing all the glass in this truck. I'm going to have a new windshield installed, which I will not be doing. All new side windows, and the rear window will stay because it's actually in really good shape. So for me, the windows on this thing, right, looked really bad. So here's the back glass, and as you can clearly see, they're scratched. The front windows were about twice as bad as these. The tint on them, it's close to 20 years old. It's kind of purple now, kind of custom, not digging it, so I'm getting rid of it. So I went ahead and replaced the front driver's side window. No scratches, no tint, but no scratches. I also, while I was at it, replaced the trim on the window as well, because as you guys and gals know, stuff gets down in here. It's part of the reason why the glass is so scratched up. Plus, it just doesn't look very good. So I did it all at one time. Glass, trim, all of it's getting done. I already have all the trim pieces for the truck. I ordered all 4 of those off of Gino's Garage, actually. Fast shipping, and they were actually priced really, really well. The windows I got off of Amazon. They were about 80 some odd dollars a piece for the front driver and passenger side. The rear windows were just a smidge less. Those will be here next week, so I'll do another video on those. But this is it. It is actually a lot easier than I thought, okay? You need 3 tools. I'm gonna show you those right now. To take your door panel off, take the trim off, and take the factory glass out of the track and install your new glass, you need 3 things, okay? First things first, you need a 10 mil. You're gonna need this to take the nuts off of the factory glass and then reinstall them on the new ones, okay? To take the door panel off, you need a Phillips. There are 3 Phillips screws on the door, and I'll show you guys and gals where all that stuff is to take the trim and the door panel off. And last, and certainly not least, you need a T30 Torx bit to take the door handle off of the door itself so you can pull the panel up and off, okay? Let me show you where all that stuff sits on the door, because it's actually pretty easy. So your first Phillips sits right inside the door. So this little bad boy right here has to come out. This comes out. The trim itself comes up, and then you slide it back. And here's why. Because up front, if you can tell, the trim actually sits underneath the mirror. So once you get the trim loosened up from the back, it slides out. The new one slides in, okay? That's easy. And it makes a difference, and it looks a lot better. Now, moving inside the door, let me show you where the rest of the nuts and bolts are. So you've got a Phillips that sits behind the door handle back here, as you guys can see, right there. And then you've got one other one that sits up here that helps secure the door panel up top. And then the door handle itself, I don't know if you guys can see it, has a T30 Torx bit back in there that you have to take off so you can pull the door panel up and off, okay? And that's it, right? There is some kind of soundproof barrier, plastic thing in there. I peeled mine back as I went. It gave me access to the 2 10 mil nuts that hold the factory glass on. But I'm gonna show you all the little tips and tricks that I use to do the driver's side on the passenger side. Here's the nice thing with this, right? Again, 20 minutes, and it makes a huge difference. You go from scratch glass with maybe not black dark tint anymore, maybe it's purple like this stuff is, to fresh glass, fresh trim, and a fresh slate, okay? Here's one thing that I learned. When I took the door panel off, okay? Remember, I put all new plugs in this truck, okay? I took the door panel off. I unplugged the actual electrical plug to this. I took this plug out on the driver's side, took the door panel off. I plugged this back in because I wanted to adjust the window to the right height so it gives you perfect access to the 10 mil bolts down here. And I'll show you, there's 2 spots in the door itself that allow you a straight shot through to take the nuts off. and pull the factory glass out and then set the new side windows in. And that's it. You get the glass in, you do everything basically in reverse order, and you've got new side windows. And 20 minutes later, your truck looks that much better and it's ready for tint. Now, I'm sure I could have probably had these windows tinted prior to me putting it on, but since I'm not doing the rear windows the same day today as the front windows, I'll just get it all done at the same time and start off with a clean slate. So here's the other little tip that I learned. All this trim that's up here, okay, once the window's down, you can peel all this out of the channel. I had it set on the inside of the door, so when I pulled this window up, I was able to kind of come out at an angle and the trim didn't get in the way. Now, I didn't take all the trim out because there are pieces of that trim that you need in order to guide the new glass down and obviously pull the old window out. And that's it, 20 minutes. So, all right guys, so I got a Phillips on my drill. I'm gonna take the 3 Phillips screws out first, set them on the floor basically so I can kind of put them right back where they came out from, even though they look to be the same size for the 2 in the door. The one for the trim is obviously a bit smaller. So let's get started. All right, so I got the Phillips heads out. I'm gonna take the Torx T30 that I've got, pull the door handle up a little bit, and I'm gonna take that out now. Now, the nice thing with this too is this actually threads through the door handle into the mount in the door mechanism itself. So I'm gonna take this out because I am gonna clean this now that the door handle is actually off. I'm gonna clean this up a bit more than I already have. That way when it goes back on, obviously it's as clean as it can be, and then I will thread this back on there. So now all the screws are out. Door handle is off. So now the trick to the door is they've got these little plastic hooks in the back, so you got to slide the door up and then off. I'll undo the wiring for the window switch and the lock switch. Just take that out of the door itself and then plug it back in, and I'll show you guys what I'm working with as far as gaining access to the 10 mil bolts to replace the window. So let's get back to it. So I've got the door panel off. I'm going to flip it upside down, and I'm going to connect the actual switch itself back to the plug, because once I get this stuff pulled out of the way, get the window down, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, pulling the trim back, and then obviously having access to the 2 10 mil bolts that hold the glass into the track itself. So the trick to this is actually pulling all of this, whatever this stuff is, back, okay? There is an adhesive on the back side. And I did use the plug itself, or I should say the connectors, to help support it, because there's a little cutout right here in the door, and I'll show you guys. This little cutout right here does help give you access to the 10 mil once the window's down. And then right inside of here, this little opening right here will also allow us to have access to basically take the 10 mil nuts off of the factory glass, and then obviously retighten the new glass once I get it down and set in there. So I'm gonna put the window down now, show you guys all that, pull the trim back, and take this window out. Now, with the window set where it's at, I'll show you. These are the 10 mil bolts that you're going to have to actually pull off. So these are the little 10 mil nuts that hold the glass onto the track. And then there's another one that actually sits right inside here. So yeah, so that's it. So you literally just have to take both of those off. I'm gonna pull the trim back and then just take the factory glass out. I'll probably raise it up a little bit, and then she's done. And then drop the new one in. All right, so I've got the panel off, as you can tell. Everything's undone. I've got this stuff kind of peeled back and out of the way. I've got access to the two 10 mil nuts that hold the glass onto the track itself. So now what I'm going to work on is taking all this trim, like I mentioned earlier, and popping it in. Okay. Now you don't want it too far. You don't want it too far down because this glass still follows the track up. But if you get this side of the glass kind of tilted up and that side down, the glass actually slides up and out. All right, guys, so I've got my 10 mil on my drill. I'm going to take the nuts off of it, and then I'm going to slowly kind of shimmy the factory window up and out, and then I'm going to drop the factory one in, line it up with the track, put the 10 mil nuts back on, and that's it. Put everything else back together. It's really not as tough as I thought it would be. So let's get finished up with this because it's about to rain, and I can't wait to see this thing done. That's it. Got the two 10 mil bolts out. Now it's time to get the glass off of the track and then out and put the new one in. And there you go. There's the factory window, scratches and purple tint and all, basically ready to go to the trash. So this piece of trim actually sits on the inside of the door, right up here on this kind of piece of top of the door right there, right? I don't know what that's called, but that's where this piece sits. It sits in a channel. Obviously this helps keep the glass kind of pressed into the track on both sides along with the one that's on the outside. So I'll get this thing cleaned up, pop it back in, and then drop the new glass in. So new window, ready to rock and roll. You notice that it's got the same mounts on the bottom of the factory glass. It's got the same little studs for the 10 mil nuts. So now I'm going to feed this down through the top of the door, get it lined up with this track, put the 10 mil nuts back on, and then just basically put everything back together. So yeah, this is going to be neat. And that's it, guys. Got the window tested, make sure that it goes up and down the track flawlessly, which it does, make sure it fits, which it does. Now I'm just gonna reinstall all the trim back on, including the new trim on the outside, put the trim from the inside back in, and basically put whatever this stuff is back down, press it back up against the door, reinstall the door panel, and that's it, she's done. So I am pretty excited if you couldn't tell because I'm halfway done with replacing the side windows now. So this thing's gonna look that much better. So let me get this stuff put back in there. I'll show you guys the final product. And again, any questions or anything, just leave them down below. So let me get back to it. All right, guys, so I got all the trim back on the truck. I've got the outside new piece of trim that I got from Gino's Garage already installed. Got the Phillips screw set back in there where it should be. I've got the trim on the inside of the door put in. I've got all the trim around the window put in. So now I'm gonna actually take the door panel itself, pop it back on, put the window switch and the door lock switch back on, plug them back in, and put it all back together. Then put the window up and just admire it for a bit. So I'm gonna get that stuff put back together now. And then I will show you guys the after and just how much nicer it looks compared to what was in there before. So let's get back to it. guys, there you have it. That's how you swap the side windows in your third gen Dodge 15, 25, 3500. They're probably pretty much all the same. And in my particular case, going from Barney purple tinted windows, scratched to heck, to brand new, fresh glass, brand new, looking really good, doing a much better job, trim, just like that, right? Fresh glass, new trim, old scratch glass, old crappy trim. These are next. All right, guys, so I got the front windows in the third gen swapped out, brand new, no scratches, clean, no tint, brand new trim on the outside. Now it's time to attack the rear doors, which are just as easy as the front. The only difference that I found with the rear doors compared to the front is the 10 mil nuts that you have to back off the posts for the window to get it out of the track. You do have to kind of adjust the window a little bit so you get access to both of them, so you can pull the nut right off and call it a day. Other than that, it's just as easy, okay? And I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean. And in typical fashion, I already did the passenger side, so I'm gonna show you the after as soon as I show you how to get there, okay? So, on your door, you've got a Phillips head that sits right here, okay? Right there. And then inside here on your door handle, literally right inside there, you've got a T40 Torx bit that you have to undo to pull the handle off. So again, once you take the Phillips off, you can slide the door panel up and off, okay? To make it easier, you just take all the trim off, okay? So inside here, there's a piece of trim that snaps down on the door right here, okay? Right over here, there's a Phillips head screw that comes off to give you access to take the exterior trim off. Once you've got those off, this trim right here that goes all the way up around the window snaps out, and that's it. You take that off, you take those other two trim pieces off, you pop the window up, and you slide it out carefully, and you're done. Now let me show you why. Let me show you. Because this will show you why I did what I did, okay? Because I want this thing to look as good as possible. I understand it's not new. We're not back in 2007, thank God. And I just want the truck to look as good as possible. And this is a pretty easy, quick fix. All in all, time-wise, if you had all the tools lined up, ready to rock and roll, this may take you 10 minutes to do. And it is worth every minute of it. So let me show you. So this is the back factory passenger glass, okay? Scratched up. It's okay. It's a 2007. It still works. It's still sealed up. It still does what I want it to do. But it's seen better days, right? This is the new glass that's going in on the back driver's side door. Now, as you can tell, this is scratched. Decently bad, okay? And the trim that usually sits down here on the outside of the door wasn't doing me any favors. This one, not scratched, right? No bueno, bueno. No bueno, muy bueno. So, now that I've showed you what they look like, let me show you what it looks like installed. And then I'm gonna set up my camera and show you how easy it is to take everything apart and do it yourself, okay? Here's the new back passenger glass. No scratches, no purple tint, nothing. Brand new, clean, ready to go. It looks awesome, and I'm a huge fan. And obviously the front windows, brand new as well. Trim, brand new as well. Trim, brand new. So if you got some time, I mean, buy it in pieces, do it in pieces, right? Because at the end of the day, you could spend maybe an hour and a half, having never done this before, put new glass in the side of your truck, and it just looks that much better, right? And plus now, put the windows up and down with the new trim on there, it's so smooth. No weird noises, no nothing. So let me get my camera set up. I'm gonna show you exactly what tools you need, and then I'll show you just how easy it is to do, okay? So you need a Phillips. Easy enough, right? Because you got two that you got to take off. You've got your, right here, already on there, T40 Torx to take the door handle off. That's it. That's easy. And then I've got my 10 mil on a mini extension, just because it takes a little bit to get in the actual panel itself to get those nuts off the post for the glass, and that's it. And I'll admit, had I known it was this easy in the past, had I known that for as little in the grand scheme of things as I thought it would cost, I'd have done this to every other third gen that I've had. But better late than never. All right, guys, so first things first. I'm gonna take my Phillips, swap it onto my drill, and I'm gonna pop off the trim on the exterior by pulling off that Phillips on the inside. And then I'm going to remove the Phillips screw from behind the door handle itself. And yeah, I'm going to take this thing apart. And it's probably going to look like I did it really, really fast because I'm going to speed up through this. So stick with me. And that's just how fast it takes, okay? So the next step is going to be putting the window down. I'm going to take the plug off of the door panel itself, plug it back in so I have full control from back here, get all the trim pulled out once I get the window all the way down, get the window up, take the 10 mil nuts off of the posts themselves, then I'm going to take the old window out, and I'm just going to reverse the process. I'm going to drop the new glass in, I'm going to slide the track back over, put the nuts back on, put all the trim back up, put the door panel back on, and that's it. It's done. So it really is that easy. And honestly, taking all this stuff off will save time, and it gives you that much more room, because you got to remember the bottom of the new windows have posts on them. So the more space you get at the top of that door to take the old one out and slide the new one in, the easier it is. And this stuff just snaps back on. So I'm going to put the window down now. Then I'm going to take the rest of the trim off. Then I'm going to take this bad boy out and get it ready for the trash. And I'm going to drop the new one in. So let's go. And there you go. Old glass, scratched, no bueno, purplish tint, done, right? So now I'm gonna drop the driver, or I'm sorry, yeah, I'm gonna take the driver's side, new one that I've got, drop it in there. I'm gonna line these posts up with the track. Then you have to slide it over so that way when you put the 10 mil nuts on there, it actually grabs to the track itself. And then put everything back together. And that's it. That's how easy these are to do, right? Take the trim out, save yourself some time, and I mean, I think these were $80-something a piece, right? The front windows, I think, were about the same or close to, or just a little less. I can't remember, honestly. It's been a hot minute since I've actually ordered them. And then trim itself from Gino's Garage, I want to say was 120 bucks, I think it was, 140 bucks. So now I'll pop the new trim in very, very last, right? This to me is kind of like the icing on the cake, because the factory stuff was just so, I guess, kind of weathered and, you know, not in the best of shape, that this to me is kind of like the icing, right? This, putting this on, getting that last little Phillips head screw in there is kind of it. So this is the new trim. And if you remember, the old trim, well, is, well, it's gone. So I'm gonna drop the new glass in and get it tightened down, and then just repeat my process, throw everything back on, and show you guys the final product. All right, guys, so there you have it. New front windows, as well as the trim installed, and just now, new rear windows with the trim installed as well. Now, the nice thing with this is it didn't take very long. Obviously, I kind of sped through the video. The easiest way to do the back window is obviously adjusting it. So taking the plug for the controller for the window itself, putting it back in, and then that way you can manually make the, take the window up and down so you can take those 10 mil nuts off the post. But once you get this set back down in there, get it lined up, slide the track back over, put those 10 mil nuts on, everything goes back together pretty easily, right? Obviously, the trim that I put on the outside out here is brand new. Just make sure that you pop that Phillips screw back in there. It sits in there real nice. The trim around the window, that all snapped back in real nice. The trim on the inside, in between the door and the glass, good to go. So, as you can tell, I'm pretty excited, right? This to me is a pretty big one. I know I said it was a little one, but to me this is a big one. I've never done this before. I've always been too scared of breaking the glass, not knowing what I'm doing, messing something up. But in all actuality, just getting after it, figuring out how to basically take the glass out and not break everything, totally worth it. If you got some time and you want to make your truck look that much nicer, especially if you have an older third gen Dodge, which are synonymous for having the scratched glass in the back and the front and all that, easy, super easy. Plus, I got a new windshield installed in this thing this week, so all new glass in this truck, with the exception of the back window. Every window in this truck is brand new and ready for tint. So that concludes this video. Thank you for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more still to come on my third gen.